poorly refrigerated areas for months before they're finally attempted to be given out to their people, and by then they've gone bad. And yet that's the so-called donations that the United States and other countries in the global north say that they're giving. When we hear the CEO of Pfizer, when we hear Biden, when we hear all of these people saying, oh, we've done so much work to donate vaccines to countries that need them. But here's the thing they don't tell you. Just giving something to someone means that the receiving country has no control over making their own. The ways that vaccines are made, the tools that needed to use a vaccine, the kind of infrastructure that is needed to keep vaccines there so people can use them, is deliberately held back from countries all over the world. And there are many different actors behind that, but there's one in particular, and that is the World Trade Organization. The World Trade Organization is an international body made up of some of the richest countries in the world, specifically to protect the interests of corporations. It is because of the World Trade Organization that laws are passed so that Pakistani farmers cannot sell their milk that they make from their farmlands because they're not able to pasteurize them. The WTO passes a law that says that Pakistani farmers have to pasteurize their milk in order for it to be safe for consumption. But for some reason, there is not those laws in the United States. And that's because the WTO specifically wants to protect an import-oriented and export-oriented and import-dependent economy in Pakistan and other countries. And this is bleeding dry whole economies and is making it so that whole countries have lack of access to food. Now that is just one thing that the WTO ensures. It's also the reason why so many countries are not able to get access to making vaccines. So we are here today to say that the WTO is putting world trade over world health, and that has to stop because too many people have died, and too many communities are going without food, without support. Too many countries are being bled dry of the necessary health infrastructure to keep them alive. There are people dying in lines to get COVID tested, not even vaccines. People are dying in line just to see if their sickness is COVID or not. That's how it is going in India. That is how it is going in Indonesia. That is how it is going in the Philippines. It's how it's going in Kenya. It's going that way in so many countries, and we have a responsibility in the United States, and the country that likes to proclaim that it has the best economy in the whole world. We have to fight for our own access to these vaccines, but we also have to fight to make sure our brothers, our sisters, our siblings and comrades around the world no longer die waiting in line for something that we have so much extra of.